We're going to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, how to fill a Form N400 application for naturalization. So I'll try my best to go step by step on this, and I'm going to use the PDF form. You can use the file online, but as lawyers, we usually file with the PDF form, so we'll go with that one. And many people find it easier to do it on the PDF form and mail it. N400 for application for naturalization. You can fill this form, by the way, online, but for us lawyers, we usually fill it this way because we have to put our form G28, and it's a lot more visual for many to fill it this way. So you have the option, by the way, to go and fill it online, but the online you have to create an account, etc., etc. But if you're hiring a lawyer, he'll probably fill this form, which is a PDF form. First of all, you have to check your eligibility for naturalization. So that means if you got your green card to employment or even marriage, unless you're married to a US citizen, you might have to file after 4 years and 9 months. We went through over this in another video. But before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification button. We're going to put some great videos. I'm doing a lot of those videos where we have the guides. So hopefully that will help you to do your own application. And if you need help, of course, give us a call, 510-742-5887. This form can be obtained online on the USCIS website. And like I said, it will give you the option to file online, which is a good option. But if you're going to an attorney or you're not a person who really like to do it online, just download this form and fill it. First of all, you're going to start here. At the top, you don't write anything. You keep going down. Then you're going to put your A number. Let's say your A number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You put it here. And then the next question, you are at least of age, right? Remember, we did that video of what qualifies you for citizenship. I'll put a link on that below. So you have to be 18 years of age, because if you're not, you might already be a citizen if your parents are a citizen, etc., etc. So the next question is, have you been lawful permanent residents for 5 years? And that applies even if you're 4 years and 9 months, okay? Because the 4 years and 9 months applies to the 5 years, okay? So in this case, you tick here. So most people will be this one. And of course, if you're married to a US citizen and that US citizen has been a US citizen for the past 3 years and you have been married for past 3 years, you can click on this box. But when you click on this one, it becomes a little bit more, you will have to put a lot more evidence, just to let you know the B. Then, are you a lawful permanent resident and your spouse a US citizen, is regularly engaged in employment abroad? That's for your time that you have to complete here in the United States. And again, we went through this in the other video, so I'm not going to go into details here. You can check the other video, the link is below. So you can check what qualifies you. So just because you work abroad doesn't mean you for a US company doesn't make you qualified. You have to be there's certain criteria for that. And of course, military, yes, there's an option for them, so you can put that. That's for people who got VAWA. By the way, if you got VAWA to a US citizen, VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, you can file for citizenship after 3 years. Okay, so you don't have to wait. And 3 years means 2 years and 9 months. And now you go in the next step, you fill your legal name here. So I'm going to put my name, Shah, my given name. And then middle name, if applicable, family name, I'm sorry. So my family name is not that one. So, and then given name, etc. Okay. So you need to put the name, by the way, exactly what you have on your green card. Okay. Unless you corrected your green card, you have to put it there. If there's any kind of change, they don't really change the names at the citizenship, but sometimes they do. If you want a full name change, usually you have to go to a state court, change your name, and then you put it here. So that's how you have to put your name here as it appears in the green card, and you can put the other name on the top, but usually it's the same. Then other names used, okay? A lot of people, you will see they have combinations of names, right? Or mistakes on their names that makes combinations. So you need to mention this here. For example, let's say for me, they call me they think my last name is Shah, for example, and then they put first name like that, etc., etc. You need to put those combinations. Even it looks the same, it's not the same. And if you don't have space, you put an additional paper to add this, okay? Then it asks you to read the instructions. Would you like to legally change your name? That's usually for married couples, and if they're divorced or they want to do it like the different way, then you can put that. But you cannot just go there and pick any name. It won't work, okay? You will have to have a court order. Social security number, again, 1, 2, 3. You put your social security number here, okay? And if you have an USCIS online account, you can put it there. And here it is. Are you a male or a female? Then let's put male. Date of birth, we'll put 1/01/2000. Okay. So sorry, it went down. So you keep going like that. And do you have any physical and then you put here your date you became permanent resident, right? So you're going to put that date which is on your green card. The date you will see it on in the front of the green card, and then you will going to put your country of birth. So we'll put India, country of citizenship, India. Yeah, it's not real stuff, okay, so I'm just putting it here. Do you have a psychological disability? That's for the N648 form, so probably no. If you answered yes, then you have to answer all this, right? So if you're a certain age, like I mentioned in the other video, remember, you certain age and amount of years you have your green card, you might be eligible to waive the civic test, the English test, but you still have to do the test in your language. So you have this rule: 55 years, 15 years, 50 years, and 20 years of green card. And then if you're 65 years or older, you live in the United States for at least 20 years at the N400. If you meet those requirements, you will be able to get a simplified version of the civic test, and usually they will also conduct it in your language. Now, you need to read the instructions, okay? So these are for people who have any kind of disabilities. You want to really kind of make sure. We'll put no here, but if you do, then for example, if you cannot hear properly, I am deaf, etc., etc., I am blind, we're not going to put it here, but I'm just giving an example. Accommodation for disabilities, this is for people who are in wheelchair, etc., and you don't have to repeat the number here because they will do it themselves. Then you have another type of disability or impairment, so you can put that there too. And then daytime phone number, how to contact you. We'll put any phone number here, just so that. Work number, of course, you put it. Evening number, email address. My email is Shah Peerally Law, by the way. So I'll put it here. Mobile number, if you have one, put it. About your residence. This is very important, where you're living. Like for us, for the office, Central Port, etc. And then you put the town, street, okay, town, Newark, for example. And then you put the county, Alameda County, state, California, and the zip code. That is pretty straightforward. Mailing address, I don't recommend really. Oh, by the way, you have to put the date, how long you've been staying there, because that makes a big difference for your residency, etc. And if you're using a different mailing address, I don't recommend doing that, but if you have to, you can put it. And then the second address, you have to cover 5 years here. You keep going on and on and on. Okay, for me, let's say you already covered 5 years on the first address, you're done. You don't have to fill the rest here. Then, were your parents married before your 18th birthday? If it is yes, you might already be a citizen, so you are going to put no. Is your mother a US citizen? No. Okay. Then about your parents, you fill the family name, everything about your parents, your mother, etc. And then about your father, you put the name here. Here is ethnicity. You can put not Latino, so you're white, black, so I don't know what I am, but Asian, we'll put it Asian, even though I'm not really Asian. Then feet, we're going to put 60. That is whatever is there. Your eye color for me is hazel, hair color is black. Okay, keep going. Employer is school. This is a very important thing because people get scared when they see that. You don't have to have an employer. If you are, for example, let's say you are homemaker, right? You don't work, you can just put that. Okay, so there's no problem. But otherwise, they ask that usually for employment base, the last 5 years of employment. And if you don't have enough space, you put an additional paper. How many days you spend outside the United States within the 5 years? So you have to add your dates. For example, let's say you travel from January to March, it's 3 months. You have to calculate the days, what is left, keep going on, and then you put it. Let's say you are there outside 50 days only, which is great. You had only 2 trips, for example. Then you have to list those dates here. Let them calculate. Don't make mistakes here. It's very important you calculate it right. Now, if you're married, single, divorced, this is very important, right? So we'll put married here. But if you're divorced and you got your green card, then there might be questions there. So be ready for that. If your spouse is a member of armed forces, we'll put no here. How many times have you been married? If you've been married more than once, I'll put one here. Then you will put not put one, okay? If you're married more than that, I just put any number here. Current spouse name, you're going to put your spouse name here. You put your spouse name, given name, etc., etc. You keep going. Now, information about marital history. Were you married before? Those information they usually ask because if you got your green card through marriage, they want to know, okay? Is your current spouse a US citizen? Yes. So, and then that means if you have that, you might be qualified under the 3 years, but if you already reach 5 years, there's no problem here. Where did your spouse become a citizen? By birth, etc. And you're going to say your spouse became citizen if she was naturalized or he was naturalized. You're going to put the date they became citizens, right? Then if they are not citizens, you're going to put all these details here, lawful residence, etc., etc. You can see here, lawful permanent residence is the green card. How many times has your current spouse been married? You have to put that too. Maybe 1 or 2 times, you will put 1, including yours. And the legal name of your spouse, you keep going on. My current spouse, date and marriage, that's the date you got married. And there, here, if you were divorced, you're going to put divorce, annulled, etc., etc. My prior spouse, if you were married before, you have to mention the name. The name of all your children, okay? Their age, if they have any number, you have to put, and their address here, keep going. It doesn't matter they are adults or anything, you have to do it. And if you don't have enough pages, you add page on that. And child 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is where a lot of people get confused because they don't know what to say, yes or no. Have you ever claimed to be a US citizen? If you put yes here, you're in trouble. There's no waiver for it usually, especially if you dealt with the federal government. But that doesn't mean you say no because then you lie, okay? So yes will create a lot of problems. Have you registered to vote? We're going to put no here, no. If you voted, that's another problem. Have you ever voted in a federal state? It's going to be no. Did you ever have hereditary title? Nobility, which basically if you're a prince, king, etc. Remember Prince Andrew basically gave up his. So you put no here. Most people are going to be no. And if it is any kind of yes there, you have to say if you gave it up. So if you answered yes, you're willing to, so you're going to put yes if you have to, you put no in this case. Have you ever been declared legally incompetent? That's if you went to the mental institution, you had some issues with, you have been declared like mentally disabled and things like that. So we'll put no. Do you owe any taxes? Very important. If you owe taxes, you better clear them before you go for the interview. Have you filed a tax return have you ever not filed the file? You better file your taxes, like I say. And did you consider yourself a non-resident? A lot of people go and live abroad and they consider themselves as non-resident. You cannot do that, okay? If you do that, you're going to have problems. So you're going to put no here because if you did that, then you're going to have issues. Call yourself a non-resident? No. Have you ever been a member of any organization, party, or any location? Okay, this is very interesting because a lot of people ask me question, what does that mean? It means any organization. If you were in a cultural society, a club, you name it, you have to mention it. Okay, so if you mention their names here, have you been a member of Communist Party? No. Another totalitarian regime? Better not. Any terrorist organization? That one very far. Have you advocated to overthrow of a government by force? Hopefully not. Have you persecuted people based on religion? This can become a problem in the future because we are seeing a lot of persecution in some countries and they come here to the US and they get away with it. But if it is found out, you're going to have a problem. Hopefully, no. And have you been in a Nazi government? Most of our clients are not. Well, probably none of them. Any Nazi were the Germans during the World War II, etc., but they're still there. Now, have you ever participated in genocide? Genocide means you killed a lot of people. Torture means, you know what torture means, like beat down on people, killing someone. No, no, hurt someone. No, no. But if you did, you better be careful. Were you ever a member of the military? That's an interesting part because sometimes people don't know paramilitary and military. So you need to check if your country has mandatory military, etc. So you're going to put no, no, if yes. If you were in the police, no. Self-defense unit, no. Vigilante, no, no. Rebel group, no. Guerrilla, no, no. Okay, now this is the thing. A lot of people who file asylum have been part of those groups. So if that's the case, then you have to put yes and give an explanation, okay? Because if you're getting an asylum based on the fact that you were supposedly in the fighting a government, you were kind of being there, like fighting, you better explain, because if you say no, then they'll say, how did you get your asylum? So have you ever been in prison or jail? Hopefully not. Okay, by the way, if you get arrested by immigration, you still have to say yes. Prison camp, no. Detention facility. Have you ever worked? Okay, this is not if you have been, okay, it's have you ever worked? Sorry for that. Ever worked a volunteer? So prison or jail, no, no. Detention facility, prison camp, etc. You're going to put no, no. Have you or did ever help in any group that use weapons? To do so, hopefully not. So you put no. If yes, then you have to explain what. Okay, if you got your asylum saying you belong to this so and so group, you fought for against the government and you got your asylum, you better say yes and explain. Okay, so then you move on. Did you ever sell, provide weapons to any person? Hopefully not, because that will be bad, unless again in your asylum you have mentioned this. If you have an asylum, if it is regular, probably not. And if you say yes, then you have to explain here. Then have you received any type of military training? No. Recruit, conscribe, or and 15 anybody to force anybody to. That's pretty much what a lot of guerrilla groups do in the rebels. Somewhere they force kids to fight. So hopefully no, no. And help supported anybody in this endeavor, kind of do anything to help people supported in combat. If your asylum mentioned that, you have to explain. Now, if your records have been sealed, expunged, or cleared, you must disclose the information, including a judge, law officer, attorney told you it no longer constitutes a record, or told you you don't have to disclose the information. Okay, so we're going to get into 28 later. But have you ever committed assisted any crime, offense for which you were not arrested? Well, nobody is going to really admit, but some people do. So probably no. Have you ever been arrested? If you are arrested, you need to get what we call a court disposition and bring it with you. Court disposition, you go to the court, or you can go online sometimes, and they will give you a certified copy. You can use that. Have you been cited? Okay, cited means like traffic tickets. So you will have to say yes if you have traffic tickets. Okay, let's say yes, we have traffic tickets. Then you have to give an explanation. Have you been charged or attempting to commit assisting in a crime of offense? Well, hopefully no. Have you committed any crime? If you did, then again, like I said, you need to bring the final disposition of the court. We're going to put no here. Alternative sentencing that relates to being arrested. Have you received suspended sentence? No. Have you completed any probation or parole? No, no, no. And then have you ever been in jail or prison? Hopefully no. If you did, then we have to know how long. You put it here. If all the answers 20 there, then skip to item 30. So you don't have to explain. This is where you explain all your arrest. We put yes there. So if we have a traffic ticket, we're going to put the traffic ticket dates, etc. Okay, then it asks you, have you been habitual drunkard? You better not. Been a prostitute. Smuggle goods or illegal drugs? No. Been married to more than one person? Polygamy is not allowed. Married in order to obtain immigration benefits? No. Hopefully not. Help to enter the United States illegally? No. You didn't smuggle any alien. Gamble illegally? Fail to support alimony? If you don't pay your alimony, that can be a problem. Okay. Made any interpretation, misrepresentation. So if you lied to enter the United States, okay, this is where it gets tricky. Some people did lie to enter because they are going to file asylum later. So you might be able to have to explain that in case you are. It's only if you obtain your green card through asylum, then you might have this situation. Um, have you given any information? So probably not. And if you give, have you ever lied to the government? No, you better not because it's a crime. Have you ever been removed? If you have been deported, you have to put that ordered removed. If you have been ordered deported, maybe you were not here, you get what we call deportation in absentia. You need to explain that. Exclusion proceeding is a deportation. No. Removal also is deportation. Have you ever been served in the military US Armed Forces? Probably not. Are you currently? So it's no, no, and then probably no. Unless you're a military, that's a different story. Then you have to put yes and explain. Have you been court-martialed? That's if you're in the military. No. Have you been discharged? That's again for the military. Have you been drafted? No, also military. Have you applied for any kind of exemption? No. That's again military, military again. And then if you're male leaving, that's the part of selective service. Okay. If you were in the United States, no matter what the stat, well, unless you are out of status, something, if you were here between 18 to 26, you're supposed to register for selective service. You can just do that online. If in case you did not, then you have to give an explanation why you didn't do it. Okay. It's not very difficult to explain. You just have to do an affidavit, just a letter declaration explaining that you didn't know or you had problems, etc. You support the Constitution. Put yes here, okay, not no. Allegiance, yes. Are you willing to take the full oath? This is where you basically starting to swear allegiance to the United States. Are you willing to bear arms? Are you willing to go in the non-combatant? It's probably yes here, yes. Unless you have some religious excuse or something, then you will have to fail. And then applicant statement and signature. This is where you can read English. If there's an interpreter, also the interpreter will have to sign, and you cannot have both. So it's here or one of those. So you are going to mention that you prepared it. If someone else prepared it, then they have to mention it. And that's one of the reasons we lawyers cannot really go over this form unless for someone without putting our name. And then of course here you're going to put your signature. If you have an interpreter, you're going to put here. And now here is for us, for lawyers. If we prepare that, we're going to put the G28, etc. And this is our phone number, etc. And then registration of foreign titles. If you're a prince, some kind of hotshot in terms of well, probably a prince, a king, or something like that, you have to get rid of that. Then you're going to sign that you're going to accept to take the full oath of allegiance. You understand it, and you will support the United States, etc. And you have to sign here. And usually they make you sign in front of them there. So so it's you're going to sign this probably in front of the officer. Sometimes they let you sign before, but usually it's in front of the officer. And that's it. You do that, you pay the fees, and you submit it. There's an address and the instructions. Do that, and that's it. You'll be done. And if you need any help, feel free to reach out to us, 510-742-5887. Anything I told you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Good luck.